Ladies and gentlemen, coaches and players, I'm your host, Rob Schreier, and welcome to Hardwood Heroes, your source for Tri-Valley Conference basketball. Strap on your seatbelts because the playoffs are just 2 weeks away, but don't worry, Hardwood is here to break down all the action leading up to the postseason. But with Athens' quest for the TVC-Ohio title cannot be any tougher, and their game with Alexander Monday pushed the Bulldogs down to the wire once again. But Colin Fobb, Frank Valentor, and Corey Butcher were the three amigos and edged the Spartans to keep their championship hopes alive. For more on our game of the week, let's say hello to Aaron Laviola and Brad Hawley, who were there to witness the magic, guys. I mean, what was it like at the game?
It was absolutely insane, standing room only. Now, Rob, you mentioned that Alexander really pushed Athens to the wire. Statistically, absolutely. You look at number of shots taken, number of shots made, turnovers, it was exactly equal.
Exactly, but it never seemed like Athens lost control of the game, even though it was close.
As tight as the game was, I was never worried that Athens wasn't going to pull out with the win because they're used to these type of pressure situations.
That's exactly right, and Alexander is too, but the other way. They seem to have about 4 or 5 games this year, maybe even 6, where they've lost it in a close game.
No, the third quarter was really what changed it. You know, Colin Fobb held on to the ball for about the last 30 seconds of the third quarter, and then Corey Butcher hit this three-pointer right at the buzzer. That's not the end of the game, but it definitely carried over into the fourth quarter and kept the momentum going.
It was a dagger. That's basically what it was. It was a dagger, and then Athens Poise just was able to pull it out at the end.
The last minute of play, 30 seconds left. Athens is up by 2. Colin Fobb goes to the line and misses both free throws. This is the kid that never misses a free throw.
Ridiculous. Remember, he went 8 for 8 against Vinton County right last Friday.
He did. And we thought that, Alexander was only down by 2. They had a chance.
That's exactly right. And then Cody Lawson threw a perfect pass to Coach Gabriel with 3 seconds to go.
I feel bad for him.
Yeah.
And you know what? That also shows how poised Athens can really stay in these tight games and, come away with the win.
That's right.
And Rob, I know you've been to McAfee Gymnasium with me. You know that it doesn't get that loud in there that often. This was crazy. You would have loved it.
Oh, I've been to that gym plenty of times, and that was a raucous environment. But after Athens escaped Vinton County in the miracle of McAfee and edged Alexander just 2 days later, the Bulldogs are that much closer to lifting the trophy in about 2 weeks' time. Vinton County got back on the winning track Tuesday as they took down Belpre, and the win keeps the Vikings in contention for a share of the league crown. And Nelsonville continues to dive bomb down the stretch as both Trimble and Fed Hawk handed the Buckeyes losses earlier this week. And for more on those struggling Buckeyes, let's chat now with Maddie Kuhn. And Maddie, the last 5 games for them are going to be tough, but is there anything that they can just play with nothing to lose?
If they don't play with nothing to lose, they're going to regret it because while they're out of TVC title contention, it's important that a strong finish down the stretch is key after the season they've had filled with heartbreaking losses and missed opportunities to pull the upset card so many times. They have to get that swagger back and remember how they felt after conquering the Spartans earlier in the year, which put them at 4-0. They also need to remember there's still a tournament, which they're 4-3 against Division III teams. And I feel like my iPod's stuck on replay, but those 3 losses were so close, only by an average of a little over 6 points.
So what do they need to do to win these remaining games?
They need to bring it to another level, especially on defense. And it's crucial for them to set the tone early because too often they're playing from behind. And then by the time they kick it into the next gear and get it rolling again, it's just too little too late. A good mantra for the Buckeyes to have going into this tournament would be a quote from legendary basketball coach John Wooden, which is, "Little things make big things happen."
Coach Wooden is he's a very wise man in basketball. And hopefully the Buckeyes take his advice as they've had 11 out of their 15 games have come down to just under 10 points, so they're going to have to pull out these close ones here in the end. Thanks, Maddie. And let's stay with the TVC-Ohio for just a little while longer, and quite frankly, we're witnessing history before our eyes. Athens has a chance to win the TVC crown for the first time in school history, and it seems like the Bulldogs have had to bear these championship expectations since January. For a closer look, let's fast break now with Aaron Laviola. And you talked to Coach Skinner earlier this week, and his boys are just emotionally drained. Do you think that's going to affect them down the stretch and into the tournament?
I really don't think it does because, you know what, you have to expect them to be a little bit emotionally exhausted because they put their heart and soul into every single game they play. When it's that close, it is tiring, but I don't think it's going to affect them once tournament time comes because right now they are very excited for the tournament. They're just finishing out the TVC. And you know what? They pull out of these really tight games, and they're gonna keep doing that because they've learned how to win. They want to win. Also, one thing that's really gonna help them in tournament time is that no team can ever anticipate what kind of offense they're going to run. The majority of this season, they run a very set offense, work the ball around the perimeter, and be very patient with it. Against Alexander was the one trying to slow the game down as they picked up the pace and got a lot of points off of transition offense. So honestly, I feel bad for anyone that tries to scout Athens because they don't know what to expect from them when they go into the game against them. They just don't.
And they've got the state's attention. The Athens Bulldogs are now the 12th ranked team in Division II, so they are on a hot streak, and they hope to see them more in the playoffs. But let's step aside from the action for just a moment as Rob Giuliano takes us to the end of, as we're going to be joined shortly here with Rob Giuliano, who's got a special story from the Federal Hocking bench as we go from the bleachers.
He paces the Federal Hocking sideline ardently. He barks out commands to his team with vigor. He is not the Lancers' head coach. He is their team manager. He is Billy Porter. He is lucky to be alive.
As an active child, Billy Porter loved basketball and held aspirations of playing in high school. A week after his 10th birthday, these dreams were all but shattered in a horrific dirt bike accident that left Billy with 2 blood clots in his brain. It took an unprecedented string of miracles for Billy to live, including an emergency brain surgery that would leave him developmentally disabled. Thanks to Federal Hocking basketball, Billy has been able to live his dream as their team manager every winter for over 20 years.
This is what I've been doing since I graduated. And I love this.
The community of Federal Hocking loves Billy just as much. Athletic Director John Murphy credits this to Billy's energy and devotion to the program.
Billy always puts a smile on everyone's face, you know? He's always happy. He's always glad to be here. And I think, you know, everybody around him feeds off of that energy, and I just love having Billy here.
And that rings true throughout Stewart, where Billy Porter will not be defined by a crack a surgeon put in his skull years ago, but rather by something everyone around him cracks on a daily basis: a smile.
I got to spend a couple days with Billy, and he brought me his old trophies and photo albums. The thing that struck me while looking at them was that Billy was able to play out his dream on the court. He was a member of the 1989 Athens County Special Olympics basketball team that won the state title. Back to you, Rob.
And that's just another example of how the game of basketball is just more than a game. But for more on Billy's story, including the accident through his mother's eyes, check out our From the Bleachers section on our website. That's www.woub.org/heroes, where you'll find the most exclusive feature content on all things TVC Ohio basketball. Also, our site has the latest scores, schedules, and standings, and video recaps from all the area games.